You did it.
Yes. All right. Welcome to King of the Hill Product Final.
Woo.
Unlike normal King of the Hill maps, this one is actually like mirrored. It's not rotated. So concrete on my left for blue team versus concrete on my right for red team. So that's what I mean by mirrored. Thus, if you prefer rocket jumping on one side or the other, it does matter on this map.
Oh,
King of the Hill, or rather, product in general, is not my forte, so excuse me if I'm like very broad or not very specific in some aspects. It's just I'm more of a 5CP guy. But
all
anyways,
good.
what we're gonna go over first is callouts, just naming all of the things on the map, and then we're gonna do rollouts, and then we're gonna talk about like the holding positions and when to four-man versus when to forward hold and stuff like that. So callouts here in spawn. You might notice that on comp.tf, they will label things differently from me, and that's because these are just the callouts that I've accumulated over the years, versus what the top brass say that these things are. Anyways, we have spawn just in the front here, and then from spawn, there's these three doorways. Instead of saying left and right, you would say that this is grass side, or left if you want to, but this is grass side, or I think on CompTF this is shed or something. That's because going to the left for blue team comes out onto grass. For blue team on the right, that is cliff side. That's because coming out onto the right is cliff. And then similarly for red team, you would call the right side grass side, because going to the right goes to grass, and left is cliff side. The center is always main. That's just what it is. Coming through main, there is this log pile right here. Soldiers and scouts and spies, maybe even a sniper if he's ballsy, love to hide here. So if you're coming through main, always take it wide and check the log pile side. Make sure there's no one hiding there. Similarly on grass, the grass side, people love to stand on these log piles, or wood piles I should say. And then on cliff, this one isn't used as often, but I have seen it used sometimes. You can stand right there in that little corner on the pipe, the lower pipe, and people, you might never see this, but this is still good to check. Someone might be hiding here as you're pushing out. Alright, so that is the spawn area, like I mentioned, grass, and then coming out from the center path main, I think CompTF calls this area Valley or something. I just call it main. All of this is just connected to main for me. In front of main is house. Just this center house thing is house. And then on top of house is China. All of this catwalk area is China. In front of house is Japan. The reason these are called China and Japan is because this is a huge landmass, and this is an isolated small landmass. Underneath China, you can say under China, or, as I like to refer to it, as porch. Just this section right here is porch. Then I mentioned cliff. Just next to cliff, this green patch, this grassy patch, that is called pocket. Not to be confused with pocket soldier or pocket scout, it's just pocket. On mid, we have rock. This is the only rock callout. There are multiple rocks on the map, but this one is rock. So it's ours and their rock. This one at the very top, in front of cliff, this is pride. And then to the right of point, or I guess to the concrete side of point, this is box, or boxes, crates, whatever you want to call it. And then as I just said, this is concrete, so our concrete versus their concrete. And then connecting the two concretes is connector. this ammo pack on the point it has a callout. This is called dog bread. You don't need to remember that. You can just refer to it as the point. He's just on the point, or you can be more specific and call it dog bread. The reason it's dog bread is because there's a loaf of bread in the form of a dog right behind it. Yes, that is all of the main callouts you will ever hear. You never knew that, yeah. Secret things you'll see. Other hiding spots, someone might be hiding on top of main, right there, or on these tires. So if you're pushing out of main, look up, look at the tires, there could be someone there. This one is less common, but there could be someone hiding in-house. Oftentimes, teams just look forward, and so they overlook like checking hiding spots in-house. So if you are diligent, you can do that, but you'll most likely never see anyone in there. Alright, yes, that is all of the callouts. Any questions about that? Alright, then moving on to rollouts. As Demoman, you have, or I've seen 2 different rollouts for Demoman. I'm sure there's plenty others, but these are the 2 ones that I've seen. So when you're in spawn, you get a 260 buff from your medic, and then you jump towards the door. That's the same thing you do on every map. I forgot to do this. 260 buff, and then you jump, you get another 260 buff, and then from here there's 2 ways you can go. One direction is in main, so you go over there, and the other direction is cliffside. If you're going main, you just sticky, you're in main, and then what you can do from here, there's 2 variations. The traditional one is you just go over Japan, and then you meet their demo man. The other variation is in main here, you just sticky jump to the right side, and now you're on the right. The reason why this is a variation is because if you don't feel confident meeting their demo man, like he consistently gets here faster than you and he traps off Japan or something, then coming under China or Porch is the safer route, since you aren't directly coming in contact with him, and then you can start just sticking across the point. And then the second rollout, like I said, was going cliffside. Oops, I missed. So you jump here, and then I'm not sure if you then do another jump in that hallway there, but you grab this health pack, and then you just walk forward while charging your sticky. So doing the main rollout as Demo Man, you should get to mid at around, I want to say, 90 health. Versus doing this cliff rollout, you will be slow. Guaranteed the other Demo Man will get to mid faster than you, but you will be full health coming into mid. Alright, soldiers. Okay, there we go. Soldiers, you will both be standing in spawn. There is no pocket rollout. And then once you guys are able to move, both of you should be getting buffed to 300. The pocket soldier will follow the medic through main, and then you're jumping up to China. That is the pocket soldier rollout. Roamer is walking forward. You have 2 options. You can follow your team through main, or you can just immediately go grass side. Going grass side consumes, I think, a little bit more rockets, but I mean, you're immediately getting onto the flank, versus going in through main. You do have different options of where you can go, like you can also follow your soldier to the right, you can jump up to Japan, or you're just jumping over to concrete anyways. So what was the point of going through main, right? If you do come grass side, you can also do a ramp slide right there, if you want to go a little bit fast. Anyways, scouts and medic, you guys just Your scouts are crouching in spawn so your medic can heal people. Then you guys walk forward. Both scouts are going to come through main. And then depending on where your demo goes, that's where your pocket scout goes. So if your demo went over Japan, you would follow him. If your demo man went cliffside, then you go cliffside, you follow him. I think I'm not too confident in this. Flank scout would still hover towards concrete side, no matter what. I'm not sure about that, don't quote me on it. But the reason is because even though you want to have two pocket scouts, so your flank on King of the Hill acts as like a pseudo pocket scout, he's still hovering around your roamer just to help your roamer out if he needs it. So you're still going to be around the flank. Alright, so once everyone rolls out, it should look something like this. Like demo man here. Let me go over here, I guess. Demo man here. Scouts are walking up behind him. You got your medic behind rock. You have a soldier somewhere on concrete, and then you have your pocket soldier on China initially. So this is what it initially would look like, and then you have to react to what the enemy team does, or like rotate over to the other side to get better positioning and stuff like that. So reasons for choosing which side of the point to fight on. If your team likes being aggressive, then you want to meet them. You want to be on the same side as that demoman so that you are sticking stickies and scattergun shots into that demoman. So like if their demo is right there, whoops, that's the wrong class. If their demo is right there, then you would rotate your combo over to the left side of point and meet him. If you don't feel like you are a damage kind of people, then you want to be diagonal to them. You want to have the most distance you can away from them. Or, if you are meeting them on the left, then you want your medic to be playing a little bit more passive, just in case the enemy team decides to go for a double bomb. So that's reasons for choosing left or right. It's just, are you feeling lucky or do you want to play more safe? A separate side reason would be you want your combo to help your flank kill off their flank. So they had like a soldier and scout right here, isolated from the heal beam, which is on the left in terms of red team. Then maybe you want your combo demo man and soldiers to start shooting their concrete. So you would rotate over to the right side and try to put a wall in between their flank and combo, and then you get those two early picks on mid. Alright. Any questions about like just coming into the mid and setting up? Okay. Oh my gosh. And then this is where my inexperience comes in, because now I don't know how to explain what to do on the mid fight other than just do damage, right? King of the Hill product is just do damage and then you win. That's it.
Is it similar to like Snake Water
So,
mid? Like where you want to initiate into them first, or
Yes, I do recommend in the lower divisions, for example, newcomer and low amateur, that your team should be the first ones to double bomb or initiate forward. In my opinion, I think that the team who initiates first will win the mid fight like 80% of the time. So yes, I think it is like Snake where you just double bomb in. But that's not to say you call a time and then you double bomb in. It's sort of different here on product. You want to get your demo man to actually deal damage first, and then your soldiers go in like to either clean up on that damage or there's some sort of distraction going on, and then your soldiers are going in. If your soldiers are going in first, I think it's a little bit bad because without that preemptive damage, they're all full health and their scouts are probably hyper-focused on shooting your soldiers out of the air. Right, so you want to get your demo man or your soldiers to deal that initial damage to get rid of their buffs. That's a lot of damage, yes.
Do you have any specific like bombs you can show off, or?
I can try. They're pretty obvious though.
Okay.
Coming on China, I prefer red side because I'm not really good with left-handed wall jumps. But you can do a jump off of house, pogo on that Pride Rock, and now you are either behind them or you're landing on top of them as soldier. Other bombs are like right here. This one is kind of very far back, so the furthest you're gonna get is like their rock, but you have a high wall on the concrete side house, and then you can just rocket jump forward. There's this wall on concrete underneath the bridge on point. This is very popular for Highlander soldiers, just to get behind them, you know? Other than that, it's mostly just bomb in where you can, like rocket jump up onto Pride, and then you can pogo off of it, stuff like that. You can go pogo across the point if you want to. It's just get in, because on this map, there is a high skybox before you hit this bridge, but you cannot go above the bridge. You will hit that collider right there, so you always have to go under it if you're trying to get across the point. So high bombing is kind of hard on this map. Pocket Soldier could even start back here on Cliff and then do a pogo off of the rock. That way he's more hidden. He's not taking any damage before he goes in, and they're not really expecting it. Because it's not telegraphed, right? If you're a soldier who's right here on China, it's pretty telegraphed that you're about to go for a bomb if you're walking forward, right? Any other questions?
What about Ubers? How do you play like add, disadd on Koth, and how is it different from 5CP?
Sure, yeah, we'll get into that. This is just the initial mid-fight right now, what I'm talking about. If there's no other questions, then I'll get into that sort of stuff. Who should the med be tanking initially on the mid? That's gonna be... Your medic wants to be healing your demo man, your pocket scout, and maybe your flank scout. Just these three people, but if your demo man is full, or your pocket scout is full, then you could be healing either one of these. If it's like complete downtime, like they're missing every shot, then you can buff up, that's the wrong color, you can buff up your pocket soldier, and then he'll have like a 300 buff before he bombs in, but for the most part, your medic wants to be healing these two people, and then like 75% of the time that person over these soldiers. Your soldiers should play allergic to beam unless it's downtime. In King of the Hill specific, the more people your medic has to heal, the worse off your team is.
Brains, haircuts, hippies, brains! You said it, brain maggot.
Okay, any other questions? I've heard that stock grenade launcher for Devilman can be good for this map, because the rollers, if they back up, they're going to walk back into rollers, versus if you miss your iron bomber and it's just right there, they can easily avoid it, you know? But I think that's the only advantage I've heard for the stock grenade pills.
Does the explosion radius matter at all, or?
I think they're the same radius. Let me see. Oh no, this one has -15. Not really. It's either you hit your pipe or you don't.
True.
Alright. Then I will talk about forward holds And what happens when you have to back up from a forward hold now? So forward holds, you would only go into a forward hold if you have major uber advantage and everyone on your team is alive versus all of their team is dead. If they're alive and they're already pushing, it's kind of hard to go into forward hold, right? So this is the assumption that they're all dead or most of them are dead and they're just in spawn right now. Then you can get into a forward hold position. What that looks like is you have pocket soldier or roamer, doesn't matter, just one soldier on grass. Medic is tanking him. You would have another soldier nearby. My team likes to have this second soldier watching main because, as we'll talk about a little bit later, main is going to be the main way for them to push out. So watching that is pretty useful. The traditional forward hold, I think, has both soldiers on grass, just for like 8 rockets spam in this doorway. And then I think Comp TF says to have your pocket scout on China. I prefer to have my pocket scout near my medic, just in case we need to have that scout speed to get my medic away from there. And then flank scout, of course, going to be on China, because he's going to be the one supporting your demo man, who is watching cliff side. So demo would be placing traps all over here. You could even try to get a more forward trap, but if it's too risky to do it, then don't do it. And then yeah, this flank scout is helping out demo man if he's getting rushed, or he's shooting main for whoever comes out through main. And then you can stand on the edge here to get a buff from your medic. So besides that blue soldier, this is essentially what the forward hold looks like. I'm trying to get everyone in frame.
Hey, Jamelia, is it too late to go back to mids really quick?
Sure,
I
what
just-
about it?
Sorry, I wanted to ask about Sniper. Is like, I kind of want to know like how you would run him into mids, and also like how to counter him in mids if he's like getting a lot of picks.
Sure. Sniper in general, there's only a few good sniper spots on this map. But since it's 6s, it's kind of hard to punish that sniper since you only have 6 people versus in Highlander there's 9 people shooting him. Anyways, the sniper good spot is here on China, which you'll probably often see in Highlander. You got on Porch, you got on Rock. He would be on boxes if your team is like completely dominating. Or he could be like right here on the staircase. Let me get on Sniper to show you. So here on China, you have, if you're playing far back, you have this long sight line on cliffside to shoot down on the enemy team. And it's hard for them to shoot back at you because you're behind a wall and they're not. If you're a little bit more forward, you can now see a little bit of concrete, you can see a little bit of Japan, but you still have this main right side covered. Cliff is kind of awkward because the only thing you can see is their concrete. You don't really see their combo, which is the juicy targets. Porch, you have this small line to hit heads. This is a good spot to roll out for the initial mid fight because they're probably not going to see you until it's too late, and then you just click on their head. Oh, I forgot about that spot on China. Right here on the very left, you can crouch a little bit over the edge, and now you can see a little bit more down on Japan. And then on the staircase, this is good if you want to like try to peek behind their rock or into pocket, but I think this box is better if you're trying to peek down cliff because you can see all the way back. I think on an earlier version of the map, you could shoot through this crack as sniper, because I remember dying to a Highlander sniper right here. I'm not sure if that still works on this final version. it might work here because this is huge. I don't know. It looks like it'll work. Anyways, so that's where sniper would be if you have one. Those spots are the most common. If you find any other spot works, then go for it, right? Like if it works for you, then it works. Oh, I forgot to show off this one. Here you can peek down cliff, or you can peek down Japan. And it's hard for them to hit you because there's a huge rock in your face. Alright, so that's where you would be as sniper. How you play sniper, I don't know, because I don't play sniper.
How do you kill sniper?
How do you kill sniper?
don't.
It's it's mostly just your soldiers need to be gods at rocket jumping and just constantly be in that sniper's face. I recommend that in these lower divisions, if you're struggling against sniper or they just have one in general, get your soldiers to constantly bomb that sniper. He is a higher priority target than the enemy medic. Get that sniper killed. So if he's like right here, just double bomb him. If he's further back on China, it's a little bit harder. You gotta get your team to start pushing forward so that he's distracted on them, and then once your soldiers are more in position, then they can go in for bombs like this concrete bomb right here. You can jump off the wall and land on China.
Booms away.
Yes, that's how I would counter sniper. I just get my soldiers to constantly bomb into his face. Or, if my team has a good sniper, then we might try that. But, I think, unless your sniper player is good, I think just playing double scout, double soldier is your best strategy.
Thanks.
Alright.
I arrived late. Is this a full like product review? Or is this just a sniper review?
This is product.
Shit, man. I hate this map.
That's okay. That's the forward hold. Yes, okay. So, when you would break the forward hold is if for some reason your medic got forced or died, or they pushed out through cliff or something happened and now they're able to walk forward. Like maybe your soldier died and you can't really hold this anymore. Then you would say, hey, let's break off the forward hold. You can still try to get into a pseudo forward hold. It's like halfway between a forward hold and halfway between holding point. You would have a soldier on concrete just watching it. There's a key difference between watching and holding it. If you're watching it, if they start to come in that area, you leave. If you're holding it, then you would stay. So you're just watching that area. You might have a demo man on cliff, like watching a trap somewhere here, or maybe a trap even further forward. Otherwise, he's probably just back on the point where his medic is. You might have a soldier, if both of your soldiers are alive, on China, and then both scouts would just like be on some sort of high ground on mid, protecting your medic. This soldier right here is also just watching this area. If you notice that... Why am I always on the wrong color? If you notice that they're walking through main and they don't look up at you, you can decide to just not jump down. Don't jump down. You can hang around here and just shoot down on the enemy medic and then jump away once they notice you. But your goal, if you own the point, is to try to live. It is not to sack. So just shooting down and then jump away if you need to. I want to get on soldier.
Brains.
You saying that is just very redundant because we're just gonna feed anyways.
Yeah. You shoot down and then you can jump away if you need to. So yeah, that would be the pseudo forward hold where you just have your soldiers forward looking at areas. You might have your demo man trapping something, and then your scouts are around your medic and building up Uber if you don't have it. Once you guys are fully back on the point, it would look something like initially. Soldier on their pride, maybe a soldier somewhere on your concrete or their concrete or somewhere. Scouts on rocks, something like that. This is very initial, like they are just starting to come in. And demo man around here. Your demo man is going to meet them. So if they're pushing concrete for some reason, don't push concrete. If they're pushing concrete for some reason, then your demo man would meet them. If they're pushing cliffside, then perfect, he's already over here anyways. And your job as just the team in general is to slow them down as much as possible. King of the Hill is a clock game. You're trying to run down your clock. That is to say, don't feed. Let them push forward and take space if it's too risky for you to hold that space. For example, if their soldier is now pushing Cliff, and they're starting to focus you down on pride, just leave. You don't need to hold that area. You can jump back, like over here or something, get arrowed by your medic, or you can even go back for the health pack, and then come back, right? So yes, that's what holding the point would look like when they are starting to push back in. They would start to push back in when it's they caught up on Uber. Like for example, their medic died, they're in spawn building, and now they just got Uber and now they're pushing out, right? So this is under the assumption it's even Ubers. Which I guess I'll talk about pushing into the point now. Pushing into the point. On even Ubers, you can have your combo come out cliffside. You just have to make sure that your medic is safe before he pushes out, like clearing this area before he comes out. You never know if there's like a soldier around the corner ready to high bomb him. So you just got to get people over here ready to protect him if need be. Your roamer is going to be very lonely on the flank because, like I mentioned, I prefer playing double pocket scout. So you can have 2 pocket scouts with your medic, or you can have a flank scout with your roamer, whatever your team prefers. And then once you're ready, you could also push out main, I guess. Once you're ready, combo traditionally pushes cliffside. So you would walk up cliff with your combo, and your medic wants to try to avoid pipe spam and shit. And then you solo across the point with a scout. So you just Uber across, watch out for a trap here. You Uber across point, and your goal is to try to force their medic, and maybe make him flash a whole bunch. Once their medic uses, back up to your side. You would solo on a scout, assuming you're comfortable with soloing a scout. If your team prefers like other people in the Uber, then go for that. It's just traditionally, it's pocket scout solo Uber across point. While that Uber is going on, while the Uber exchange is going on, these other people should be trying to play more passive. Sure, that scout can be there. That's fine. These other people should be trying to play more passive, like Demo Man not even in the fight. Pocket Soldier may be on Cliff, but not on Pride yet. And then Roamers and Flank Scout, if you have a Flank Scout. They're trying to take back your concrete if they can. If it's not possible, then don't try. If it is, like there's no one here, then you can get a soldier up here on this slanted roof on concrete. Then you can shoot down at people. Your main purpose for exchanging Ubers is to play the post-Uber fight. And that will be essentially a second mid-fight. And just like on the mid-fight, it's just whoever does more damage wins. However, if you go in for trades, trade meaning you kill a person but you die for it, they will have the longer respawn time. So going in for trades is beneficial for you, even though you're losing a person. So if you go for a trade, that's completely understandable. And then you're able to get back into the fight, respawning faster than their team. But yes, it's just a second mid fight, whoever does more damage wins. Post Uber, you can even double bomb your soldiers in if you want to. That's a strategy, yeah. You just have to be careful of their soldiers also double bombing your medic. Yes, very important. During the Ubers, during the exchange, everyone else tries to live, stay out of the fight. Do not walk too far forward. Otherwise, you're feeding, you're throwing. And then post Uber is when you walk in. Alright, so that's pushing back into the point on even Ubers. On the flip side, defending it. So if they are soloing their scout into me or something, they're doing a soldier or demo push or some shit, what your team wants to do on the receiving end is you want to, of course, not give up too much space, but you want to solo on your demo man, and then everyone else stays out of the fight. So you got like scouts further back. You want to solo on your demo man. That's the ideal. And the reason is because while the Uber is going on, excuse me, your demo man can be shooting at people behind their Uber, like these people if they're too far forward. He can also, hold on, got something in my throat. He can also trap off the area behind their medic, such that when they start backing up, they're backing up into stickies. Soloing on your scout or soloing on your soldier cannot do the same. Like, what is a soldier gonna do? Shoot the medic's feet and then let the medic surf away? What is a scout gonna do? Shoot shiny people? So on the receiving end, if you own mid, it is more beneficial to try to solo on your demo man and then let him do work, place stickies behind him, shoot people not in the Uber, etc. It's just really important, post Uber, your medic gets back into a safe position, because if he's caught out, then he's going to die to like a double soldier bomb. And assuming everyone's still alive, it's exactly like a second mid fight. You're just trying to out DM them. Yes. So I said traditional Uber push, you would go cliffside. You can go under Japan. It's a little bit more risky because you're going under a tight doorway. There could be stickies here and stuff. But the reason why you would go under Japan versus China is because you're trying to avoid a sniper or something. You're trying to avoid lots of spam. Coming under Japan, you avoid most sniper angles. The only one you don't avoid is the one when he's on rock, like right there. So you avoid most sniper angles, and you're essentially catching their demo man off guard, because most likely their demo man's going to be over there, and he's going to have traps on the left or something. So you're catching him off guard, and then you walk forward with your scout, same idea, solo Uber on your scout, and this time you can like shoot people not in the Uber if they are close, but your main priority should be trying to force the enemy medic, or kill a sniper if he's close. But yeah, you're trying to take the exchange. Okay. So that's pushing back in and defending the point. Any questions about that? Next, we'll go over like disad and 4-man sacks.
I didn't hear what you were saying. Could you go over again?
From the beginning?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I need to hear the callouts again. No, I'm kidding.
Was that from the beginning thing serious, or was that a joke?
No, that was a joke.
Okay. Any other questions?
Do not look at this man's head. Go about your business.
Alright. Then we will talk about 4-manning and disad. When you're on Uber Disad and you own the point, for example, your medic got forced, but you killed a lot of their team, so you guys were able to cap the point, but now their medic has Uber and they're pushing back in, something like that. When you're on Uber Disad, your medic wants to be playing very passive, like essentially next to house or something, but not in the sideline, more towards pocket side. I just place him there just for like, this is where he would be in the general area, right? You want to avoid sniper sightlines.
Put medic on point. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Demo Man, you can still be a little bit more forward. I would say this log right here, extended in both directions, is the imaginary no feed line. Do not cross this line if you are on major Uber Disad as Demo Man.
Pay no attention to the top of this man's head.
Your scout, one of them can be playing a little bit more aggressive or with your flank soldier if he wants to be. And the other one, which is probably the pocket scout, should definitely be with your medic. Just like, to build Uber and give your medic scout speed to escape once the enemy team starts pushing in. So very important that this person doesn't die. Don't take damage. You will die if you build and take damage. Pocket soldier, you have a bunch of places you could be. You could be on like China, you could be on Cliff, you could be like around this rock area, you could be on Pride. Wherever you're feeling like playing, but on major Uber Disad, keep this in mind. Once they do start to push in, your team is going to go in for a 4-man. This is just your initial spot. Then you should get in position to bomb their medic once he's walking forward. Same thing with Roamer. That wherever you want to be is your initial spot, but then you want to get in a position where you can easily bomb into the medic once they start pushing in. A tip I recommend is if you guys are planning to bomb, just in general, it doesn't need to be 4-mans. If your soldiers are planning to bomb, I recommend not taking the attention. So play your corners, try not to expose yourself too much, and that way you are preserving your health and potentially allowing yourself to get crit heals. Then if you're close to your medic can buff you up to 300 in like a second, because that's how crit heals work. So you want to play your corners more, try to conceal yourself, and then once the call is made, let's go for 4-man now, then you go in. That's my recommendation for how to play soldier.
Team, maggot. Yes, we are, soldier.
So, when would you decide to go in for this 4-man on major Uber Disad, but you own the point? That would be when your team is able to see their medic. If he is in a position, if you want to lose bid, I don't know what that's in context to. Go for a 4-man if you want to lose mid, I guess. When you see the enemy medic, and your soldiers / demo man are able to reach that distance with a bomb, then go for the 4-man. Like, you want to try to kill that medic or force that medic's Uber as fast as possible. So once he is within bomb range, your soldiers can then go in for their bombs. Your demo man can have a sticky at his feet and then jump forward. Your flank scout can then like waddle in, because that's all flank scout does. Your pocket scout and medic want to leave. When your team goes for the 4-man, do not stick around. The longer you delay leaving, the more risk it is for your medic. He might, can, and will die if he sticks around. Just leave. Even if your pocket scout is sticking around, just leave. You're talking about single tanking heck above. There's 2 escape routes you can do. Going cliffside as medic, it is the closest thing to you, because all you do is just walk backwards and then you walk to the cliff entrance. However, If the enemy team decides to use their Uber proactively and they bomb their demo man in or some shit, the enemy demo man might be able to catch up to your medic. And this is a very tight quarter, so your medic might still die if the enemy enemy team uses their Uber very fast. The other exit is in main. I keep doing the wrong color. Is in main. It's a bit more distance, and you are crossing sight lines, so I would only recommend main if you're already close to there, and they don't have a sniper. Because if you have to cross the sniper sight line, it probably wasn't worth it. Anyways, main is valid because you have a scout with you. That's interesting, my scout disappeared. You have a scout with you, you can back up with scout speed into main. It's a lot more open, so any like demo men or soldiers who bomb you, you have a lot more space to work with. You can like surf away. So that's what your team is doing. These 4 people bomb in, and then your pocket scout and medic leave to spawn. Alright, so it's gonna be the same idea when your team wipes. And by wipe, I mean all of you died, but all of the enemy team lived. So, when you're 4-manning out, there is a secret technique that a lot of people know about, so I don't know if it's secret. Coming on concrete side, as soldier, you can jump straight up, and you can look onto grass right there and see if they are there. That's really useful if you don't know if they're forward holding. So let me just place a ragdoll down. If I jump up, you can almost see him. I guess let me place the medic further back.
An even funnier strat.
Right there. You can see the medic, so then you can see if they are 4-manning.
I love you, brain maggot. Never leave.
So,
Amelia,
yeah, go on.
yeah. The place where you rocket jumped on the other side, you can jump higher, and you can actually shoot over and hit people. So if you run a Chris Creek, you can jump over it and shoot.
Oh,
shoot
yeah,
right
yeah,
from
on
the
this
spawn.
side, yes. I was gonna mention, but I forgot. If you jump higher, you can shoot down, yeah. I was gonna mention, but I forgot, that I think they lowered the skybox here. You used to be able to go really high on this side, but now you can't. Alright, so your medic and scout are building in spawn. And the rest of your team are getting oh, that's the wrong class. The rest of your team is getting buffed up, and they're preparing to 4-man sack. There's the traditional thing to do, and then there's what my team does. What my team does is we send both of our soldiers through main, and you just have to go through it. They will be shooting you as you walk through. If you back up, you're just letting them have more time on their clock, right? You're letting their clock tick down, so you just have to walk through and take it. What my team does is we send both soldiers, if I can rocket jump, because I'm bad at rocket jumping, we send both soldiers immediately onto cliff to shoot their demo man. And that way, one flank scout here isn't enough to shoot both of them down, and then hopefully both of my soldiers, or at least one, is able to kill that demo man. So we sacked 2 soldiers to get 1 pick, which is a pretty big pick, because now we have all of that space to work with if we kill the demo man. Or the traditional thing is you send your soldiers through main / grass entrance, and you're just trying to get onto the medic any way you can. It's going to be same thing with Demo Man and Flank Scout if they are also in the push. It's a little bit harder for Flank Scout if they're forward holding, because you only have like 185 health and that's dwindling, versus they have 8 rockets coming at you. So I think sometimes the Flank Scout switches off to Pyro, and he just like air blasts rockets in this area. Anyways, if they aren't forward holding, it's pretty simple to push out. So pushing out, first you want to clear any hiding spots, of course. Your medic and pocket scout are going to stay in spawn. The rest of your team, Demoman, both soldiers, flank scout, are going to be walking forward. They will probably be playing around like here, kind of, something like this. And they are probably expecting you to 4-man. And if they're not, then they suck. And how you 4-man is the same way you did it when you guys owned the point, but on Dissad. Oh. So soldiers, you can like get 300, come up to China, and then you can pogo off of Pride. That's how you guys can get behind. Demo Man is pretty simple. You just place like 1 or 2 stickies down and then you det. Now you're in their face. Flank Scout's a little tricky because all you can do is walk. So you have to utilize your soldiers and Demo Man as a distraction. Once your soldiers and Demo Man are in, like this, or something, just around this area, and the entire enemy team is looking at them, then as Flank Scout you can go in, because they're looking at other people, not you. You can walk forward and try to shoot the medic, or whoever's close.
Brains, haircuts, hippies, brains.
I think in an earlier map talk I did, someone said, will Roamer like be on grass side more often? I said yes, but you can still do the same jumps as your pocket soldier. It's just whatever's easier for you. Of course, you do want to split up your team so that you're not being, or rather, you're not taking the same damage. If both soldiers are right here on China and they're eating the same splash damage, it kind of sucks. So, of course, yes, you do want to try to split up your team, but what you can also do is just let your pocket soldier go, or roamer go in first, and then the other soldier does the same thing. You can jump off of the center house, whatever you want, just whatever is easier for you to get into the medic. Yes, and that is 4-manning. When you would 4-man is you're on Dissad, and you still have time left on the enemy's clock. If the enemy team only has 30 seconds remaining, it's probably not worth it to 4-man. Because I believe your respawn time is like 10 seconds. So if you just 4-manned, they now have 20 seconds left on the clock, but you guys are nowhere near close to getting Uber. And then all they have to do is defend the point and lock you out, right? So I'd say around 30 to 40 seconds left on the enemy team's clock is when it starts to become not good to 4-man. Otherwise, yeah, go for it. Anytime you're on Dissad, just go for it. Go for a 4-man, build up in spawn. If you have Uber, don't 4-man. Just use your Uber. Alright, any questions about that? Because after that, I'm kind of done. I don't really have anything else to talk about.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Hey, Jam, could you talk about the game theory of delaying cap to prevent them from spawning?
Sure. So on King of the Hill, and also sometimes on 5CP, whoever owns the point has longer respawn times, and whoever doesn't own the point has lower respawn times. So in this example right here, red team owns the point, blue team doesn't, so blue team spawns faster. Let's say that this 4-man sack was so successful that it killed off nearly everyone on the enemy team, and this allowed your team to just walk into mid, right? Instead of capping the point right off the bat, if one of your players is dead, you should utilize the lower respawn times to get that person back up. Like for example, your guy has a 7-second respawn time. instead of capping the point, which would increase it to 14 seconds, just let him spawn and then cap the point. That way, you aren't increasing your team's spawn timers, but the downside is you're letting the enemy team get some time off of their clock. But that
Hello?
doesn't really matter in overtime.
Hello?
Hello.
Are you almost done?
Yes.
Okay, see you in 30 minutes.
In product specific, the first cap of the game does not delay your spawns. Everyone just has shitty respawn times, so you can cap without worry. Just for the first cap of that round. Any other questions?
No, that's pretty good. Thank you.
Hippies, brains.
Is demo decision making any different from any other Koth map like Bagel? If so, what should I be dealing damage? When should I be carpeting? When should I be trapping? Trap when your team has ad, because their team is trying to build up their Uber and they might be formatting, right? So you want to trap locations where you think they might come in, and then if they do, it feels really good. Like a common trap spot is right here on Rock, because a lot of the time, when they're trying to Uber in across the point, they like to just hug this side right here. Another common trap spot is along this wooden fence, because they want to Uber across point on cliffside. Dealing damage is most like single deading and trying to actively hit your pipes and shit. That's probably only gonna be for like post Uber fights and the initial mid fight. Because just like every other King of the Hill map, your soldiers want to bomb off of your Demoman's damage. So any damage he does is very critical in calling out. Like even 50 damage on a scout is really good, because now that scout is only 130 and your 130 and your soldiers can like easily 2-rocket that. So going for damage is essentially the same as all other Koth maps, it's just mid fights and shit. Trapping is when you have Uber ad or there is like 30 seconds, 20 seconds left on your clock, then you would trap the point, because obviously they are trying to push back in and cap the point to extend the round, right? So you putting stickies on the point makes it so that they have a hard time capping. Carpeting. I feel like carpeting and trapping is kind of the same thing. I guess the only real carpet would be, as I just mentioned, 20 seconds left, carpet the point, and another carpet you can do is during a forward hold. When you're on cliffside, you can like place stickies right there to deter them from coming out. Did that answer the question? Is there ever a reason for Med to play on cliff, or should he always be in pocket below Japan on their grass for forward? There is no reason for your medic to play on cliff unless your team is pushing forward on cliff. So like you have scout, demo man, and medic. This is a relatively safe path to walk on for medic. The only issue is if their demo man, who's like right here, is just in this angle for some reason and he's shooting pipes right here, right? In this straight line, it's kind of bad for your team. But otherwise, the only reason why medic would be on cliff is because your combo decided to push cliff, try to remain hidden, and then drop down uber push onto them. So I think this cliff push is very popular nowadays. Back when I played, like in Season 3 and 4, the just walking up pocket side to push back in was the more popular approach. Basically on this map, medic should either be behind rock or near China. Essentially, behind rock is also kind of awkward for the same reasons it is in Highlander, because you have no vision. You're relying on your team to tell you when their soldiers, demomen, spies, snipers are coming in. And you're kind of in between two sight lines. If you come over here, you're in the cliffside sight line, or I guess just Japan in general. If you come over here, you're crossing the China sight line, if they have a sniper. So Rock is good because you can heal both sides of the point, you can heal your flank, you can heal your combo, but it's awkward because you have no vision. And then Pocket, you can easily escape. You have a lot more field of vision because you can peek this area for a little bit, and you have more open space so that you can surf rockets away if you need to. Alright, any other questions? Okay, then that will be the end of this map talk. Good luck to you all in your scrims and matches.